Hey, Kris, over here. Just take us through today with Connor McDavid. This morning it sounded like he wasn't going to play, and then something changed throughout the day. Could you kind of give us an idea of what happened?
Yeah, he was really close day to day, and the plan was that he was going to start the following game on Friday. He really felt that he was ready and wanted to play, especially with Nuge. We're losing another centerman. Felt that he was ready, and it was going to be as good as it was going to be, and he really wanted to be in the lineup tonight.
Take us through kind of running.
And obviously, he wouldn't have been cleared just because he felt he was playing. The medical staff obviously felt that he was in good hands, that he was going to be safe to not create any more damage.
Sounds good. So take us through kind of going with the 11-5 system. You had some defensemen play a lot more minutes than usual, but they look pretty good out there because of it.
Yeah, no, all those five played really well and stepping up. All of them playing more minutes than they usually have. And then also just the partners switching it up pretty much every shift. So great job by those five. Put in a really good game. Nice to see that, that big goal, I believe was the third one, that Kulak and Doc showed a lot of patience and got that puck from the lid to the Arvidsson goal. But, so many good plays from them.
Kris, you alluded to this as well with the amount of guys out of the lineup. Connor did say, I wasn't taking anyone's spot, willing to try it out. He did say, after a couple shifts, if it wasn't good, I could pull myself out of the game. Were you okay with that? And did you feel there was any risk at all with him going into the lineup?
Well, obviously, we're worried about anything, especially we've had, a couple of guys come in and then, tweaked it a little bit and come out immediately. So you can never be foolproof. There's always going to be, you can't know everything, but felt that he was in a good position that he could play and not make it worse. And of course, it could have happened, but felt that he was in a pretty good position to play tonight.
Any update on Jake Wallman?
He's just day to day. We hope he's playing Friday, but might get pushed back a day or two, but I think it'll be pretty soon.
Did that necessitate putting Klingberg on LTIR just in case you do need to recall another defenseman?
Yes.
Maybe just give us a thought on what McDavid gave you, coming off the shelf and putting a performance like that out there, and along with Connor Brown.
Yeah, I thought that line was played really well. It starts with the offensive zone face-off. We were able to get a matchup that we wanted after an icing. They hound the puck, create a turnover, and put the puck in the net. But I think the three of them felt very confident with the puck, especially McDavid, obviously. But Connor Brown also made some nice little plays. Skinner had some opportunities. Those three, we needed a big bump-up line like that, and I thought they played really well.
Connor talked about he thought the system worked well today, like the communication among everybody. I imagine it's complicated because you got players that are wanting to play and lobbying to play. You got doctors that got jobs to do. You got big picture to think about for playoffs. Just describe kind of like the level of communication required, and your system is very much kind of being tested right now with all these guys that are hurt.
Yeah, no, it's we've been very fortunate my time here anyways, that we haven't had very many injuries and we've been very healthy. And right now it's been complete opposite of that, especially with the key guys that we've had go out. But, today was with Connor coming back. Obviously, he comes in, talks to the medical staff and itching to be in, and, he goes out on the ice, evaluates it, sees how he feels. He reports back to the medical staff. He's got to be cleared by the doctor. Our doctor's not here at the moment, but he eventually sees him. And then with Wallman, it was felt that he was questionable, and he did go on the ice and just didn't feel quite that he was ready, and felt that the time off would be beneficial for him. And certainly with the timing of where we are right now, with only a week or so away from starting playoffs, we don't want to make anything worse and have somebody sitting on the shelf when we don't. That doesn't have to happen.
Kris, your fourth line tonight is going to give you a lot of energy in the shift. What did you like from that trio?
I like they were skating extremely well, checking. They're all big guys that move fairly well. And when the three of them are skating, there's not much room to make any plays. Usually when the opposition gets the puck, they are swarmed immediately. And, that's where they create a lot of turnovers and they can just play from there, not necessarily off a system or so much structure. It's just ultimately almost like chaos, just because they're moving around so much and covering so much space. So, those three I was very happy with, I would like to see more of that.
Lots of minutes for Nurse, Bouchard, and Kulak. And Kulak's had a tendency the last few years to really elevate his game in the playoffs. You obviously experienced that last year. You kind of see him getting ready for playoffs again with his game lately?
I hope so. We're going to need him, whether that's, we anticipate Ekholm coming back and there's no issues there. So we're pretty strong with left-handed defensemen, but there's always going to be something that happens that we're going to need big minutes out of him later. But key role, we're very fortunate to have the D-depth that we have. And, we're not sure, it's certainly narrowed in on what exactly our deep pairs are going to be. Certainly don't know what our lines are going to be, but we know that we're going to need those guys playing well.
Kris, can you talk to Pickard when it was tied 3-3? A couple of breakaway stops and one on Shen.
Yeah, a lot of key saves. The breakaway, we got caught on a change that led to the breakaway. And then the 4-on-4, there's a breakdown, a point-blank shot from the slot. Even when they had the goalie pulled, and I'm not sure they credit him with a save, but he makes the defensive play. It's a across the crease pass that he gets a stick out and intercepts that pass, so there's not a shot. But if he doesn't have the awareness to cut that off, that may be a game-tying goal.
And one last one for me. How did you see the Corey Perry-Binnington scuffle?
There's a little bump in there, and I don't know. It was just a little bump. I don't know, but Corey's usually around the paint, and that sometimes happens. So, we got definitely got the crowd into it, which was good for us.
4 games left in the season. This is not an ideal way for any team to go down the stretch drive with the injuries. What's your stress level like, and where do you think your team is at, and where is it going to be, for game 1?
Well, we've got a lot of things to think about. What our lines are going to be like. That first line with Skinner and Brown and McDavid, they played really well. And you think, all right, is that something we're going to go with forward moving into the playoffs? You still have Leon coming back. Who's his line mate's going to be? So many guys playing well. Our third line tonight, Janmark, Potcoles, and Perry. They had a good night tonight. So, we've got lots to think about, a lot of line shuffling. Unfortunately, we don't have many games to really test run those when we do get everyone back.
It's been a little bit here for Zach Hyman, and I think everybody sees him working his way through it. What have you thought of his game, and from an offensive standpoint? Obviously the production hasn't been there. What have you seen?
The production hasn't been there. He hasn't had the same centerman that he usually has, and typically he's usually on a line with McDavid. When you take away McDavid from your line, and usually offensive production drops a little bit, to say the least. But I think he's been working hard. He's been getting his chances. He's been taking the puck to the net. Other than putting the puck in the net regularly, and that'll increase, I assume. Obviously getting our power play unit together, and he's a big contributor there. But also getting in line with whether that's Leon or Connor or whatever we decide to do. I'm sure that he'll be putting up some offense later.